Okay, so today we're going deep on SIPs, systematic investment plans
Right.
in India. We've got some new data hot off the presses from November 2024.
Uh-huh.
And our source is this SIP Insights November 2024 report.
Okay.
Basically gives us like a snapshot of what's happening with SIPs right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, some of this stuff is pretty wild. Did you know
What's that?
that like monthly SIP inflows have jumped by almost half
Oh, wow.
in just a year?
Seriously.
Yeah. We're talking 25,320 crore.
That's huge.
In November 2024 alone,
Yeah.
compared to like 17,073 crore the year before.
It's a big jump.
So, I mean, obviously SIPs are getting more popular, right? Is that all it is?
Well, I think it's definitely a factor. This SIP Insights thing actually shows the monthly average for like all of FY25 is almost triple what it was back in FY21.
No kidding.
Yeah. And that kind of jump, that's not just like a trend.
Right.
It really feels like a pretty big change in how people are thinking about investing.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what's going on? Why is everyone suddenly so into SIPs?
Well, I think, for one thing, more and more people in India are getting financially savvy.
Right.
They're starting to understand, like, the advantages of investing regularly, being disciplined about it.
Yeah.
And SIPs are a great way to do that.
Makes sense.
But it's not just that. The economy is also a big part of it.
Oh, how so?
Well, think about it. The middle class is growing. People have more money.
Yeah.
But then, like, traditional investments, those safe bets like fixed deposits,
Yeah.
they're not giving the same returns they used to.
Right.
So people are looking for other options, right? And the stock market, especially through SIPs, it's a way to potentially earn more.
Though it does come with more risk, of course.
Exactly. More risk, but potentially more reward.
Okay, so we've got this perfect storm. People are getting smarter about money, the economy's changing, and they're looking for better returns.
Yeah.
So SIPs are booming. But hold on, the report also mentioned something about new SIP registrations dipping in November.
They did drop a bit, down to 49.47 lakh.
From 63.70 lakh in October.
Right. But I wouldn't panic just yet.
Oh, why not? Should we be worried?
It's just a single month's data. It doesn't tell the whole story.
Okay, so it could just be a fluke.
Exactly. Remember things like festivals, people might be spending more than...
Intense.
Or even just some ups and downs in the market could make people hesitate.
Right.
But if the long-term trend keeps going up,
yeah,
I think this little dip is probably nothing to worry about.
Okay, good to know. So let's move on to something else interesting from this report.
Yeah.
It seems like most SIP accounts are what they call regular plans, right?
Yeah, around 61% of all the accounts.
61%. Okay.
But here's the thing.
What's that?
Those regular plans, they actually make up a huge 79% of the total SIP assets under management. The AUM.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah, it is. And just to remind everyone listening.
Yes, good point.
Regular plans, those involve distributors or advisors.
Right, you've got someone helping you out.
Exactly. Whereas direct plans, you're on your own, investing directly with the fund house.
Right. So what do you think is behind this big gap in AUM?
That's a good question. I think for a lot of investors, especially people who are new to all this, it just feels safer to have an advisor.
That's like having someone to hold your hand.
Exactly. Someone to answer your questions, maybe calm your nerves.
That makes sense. And if you feel more comfortable, you might invest more.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That comfort could definitely lead to putting more money in.
Which would explain the higher AUM for regular plans.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so that's the advisor effect. But what about geographically? This report said 34% of SIP AUM comes from B30 locations.
Right, those smaller towns and cities outside the major metropolitan areas.
Exactly. What do you make of that?
Well, I think it's a really positive sign. It shows that financial inclusion is spreading.
So investing isn't just for big city folks anymore.
Exactly. SIPs are reaching people all over India.
It's like democratizing investing.
I like that, yeah. It means more and more people are becoming aware of these opportunities.
And they want in on the action.
Right. They want to build wealth, grow their money, even in places that haven't traditionally had as much access.
That's really cool. And it's not just a temporary thing either, right? The report said that a good chunk of SIP accounts
Did you do like 26%?
have been running for 3 years or more.
Which is awesome. It shows real commitment.
Right. But like they're in it for the long haul.
Exactly. They're starting to see the power of compounding, how it really works over time.
And this is where it gets even more interesting.
Oh, how so?
Because of those long-term accounts.
Yeah.
A full 67% are those regular plans.
Right, the ones with advisors.
So maybe having that guidance
It could be.
really helps people stick with it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. It's like having a coach in your corner, keeping you motivated.
Yeah. Makes you less likely to give up when things get tough.
Exactly. And when it comes to investing, consistency is key.
Totally. So to kind of sum it all up, we're seeing this huge growth in SIPs in India,
Right.
driven by a bunch of things.
Mm-hmm.
Financial literacy,
People understanding investing better.
the changing economy, technology making it easier to invest,
Uh-huh.
and the role of financial advisors.
All playing a part, yeah.
It's a really fascinating picture of how people are approaching their finances.
It really is. And it makes you wonder what the future holds, right?
Like what's next for SIPs in India?
Exactly. Will even more people start using them, especially in those B30 locations?
Right.
How will technology change the way people manage their SIPs?
Good question.
And will we see a shift in whether people prefer regular or direct plans?
So many things to think about.
Lots of possibilities.
Yeah, the SIP landscape is definitely changing.
It's dynamic, that's for sure.
And for anyone who's investing or thinking about it,
Yeah.
it's important to stay informed.
Absolutely. Keep learning, keep adapting.
And maybe in a future deep dive,
Oh, that would be interesting.
we can explore some of these questions.
Yeah, delve deeper into those possibilities.
But for now, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Keep learning, keep investing, and keep diving deep into the world of finance.
Couldn't have said it better myself.